Hi, everybody. This is Lee, and I'm just signing in to report on Nevada and the fact that there is now a recount effort in Nevada. This is headed by Rocky De La Fuente. He was an independent candidate in the general election. He was part of the Democratic primary earlier this year. Uh, Things went a different way than he planned, and so he became an independent candidate in the general. And now he's exploring Nevada. He'd filed in Wisconsin, but when Jill Stein filed her recount in Wisconsin, Rocky De La Fuente withdrew and then moved his effort to Nevada to explore voting issues, election issues there. And there's a possibility that he will also file in Florida as well. So the effort for electoral reform and vote reform continues. And Nevada is a state that Clinton won. And so that does provide a little bit of counterbalance in the force for electoral justice this election season. Let's hopefully we'll get some. Green is not on the ballot in Nevada, and therefore Jill Stein was not able to file a recount request in Nevada, but Rocky De La Fuente was able to do that. He's sampling some certain precincts, and if fraud is located or discrepancies or irregularities, then that will trigger a statewide recount. I'm looking at Newsmax TV Las Vegas. It's a website. It's from December 1st, this article. Huge Nevada voter fraud uncovered, worse than ACORN. And so this is the Republican Assembly candidate for District 15, Stan Bond, who says he has actual proof of massive voter fraud in Clark County. And so he brought that to this television station or this outlet, saying that people use fake names and that there were people who were deceased that were voting in Clark County. He said that there were other serious voting system irregularities, including early voting numbers flipping from day to day. And then he, let's see, goes on to say that there was some issues with the final numbers as well. And so there's exploration from the Republican point of view of what's happening in Nevada. But this is Rocky De La Fuente, who has also targeted Nevada for more focus on voting results. He filed for a recount. He made this decision for several reasons. He was not able to raise enough to recount Wisconsin, so he did the sample recount in Nevada. He is very careful to emphasize that he has no intention or motivation or agenda to overturn the Electoral College. He's very specific about that, as well as he should be, based on what other people have said and how the blowback has resulted. But definitely, he wants to balance out the recount and force the media to focus on the need for substantive reform to maintain the integrity of the nation's elections. There's a lot of similarities between Nevada and Wisconsin, except for who won. He says that Clinton won Nevada by a narrow margin, a margin almost similar to Trump's win in Wisconsin, and therefore Nevada's votes should be recounted. And he says that on a personal note that he experienced some unfair treatment during the Nevada Democratic Caucus. And he also recalled the confrontation between the Clinton and Sanders camp with respect to the allocation of Democratic ballots and the accusations that went back and forth during the Nevada caucus. And so he says that he may file for recounts in one or more additional states, but his will be an effort on a nonpartisan basis. It's about election integrity. It's not about favoring one party or candidate or another. He says that he wants to expose the problems and fix them. He says that he suffered election fraud in both the Democratic presidential primary and the general election. He says that he has screenshots of his vote totals going down in a variety of states, even as more counties report it, which should not be possible. And so he's saying that with other forms of election manipulation, that's part of the reason why he wants to explore the problems and push for solutions. And so he's got his website up. You can learn more about his particular efforts to promote vote reform by Recounting Nevada. There's a link in the description that goes directly to his website and his press release there that explains his reasons very clearly for wanting to recount Nevada. And then possibly there's speculation that he will also recount Florida. And so I agree that there is a need for vote reform. Nevada was very tricky this year. There was a lot of bad things that happened during both the Democratic primary and apparently during the general election as well. Jill Stein was not involved in either scenario because Green was never on the ballot in Nevada. Therefore, she had no standing to recount it, but Rocky De La Fuente does. And so you can keep up with that by keeping up with his website and the progress that he's making and the progress that we hopefully will be making in terms of vote reform. Hopefully we get somewhere, certainly by the time the 2018 midterm elections begin. There's no reason why we cannot fix any and all problems prior to the start of the 2018 midterms. Good luck.